All right, today's reading will be from St. Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. I apologize for this being so late in the day, but I am getting it out nonetheless. Um, and I'll be doing the commentary from an assortment of ancient church fathers. Um, uh, St. John Chrysostom will be among them. O Corinthians, we have spoken openly to you. Our heart is wide open. You are not restricted by us, but you are restricted by your own affections. Now, in return for the same, I speak as to children. You also be open. Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Unbelievers, for what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness? And what communion has light with darkness? And what accord has Christ with Belial? And what part has a believer with an unbeliever? And what agreement has the temple of God with idols? For you are the temple of the living God. As God has said, I will dwell in them and walk among them. I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Verse 11, O Corinthians, we have spoken openly to you. Our heart is wide open. St. John Chrysostom here says, Paul means by this that he talks to the Corinthians freely, as he would to people whom he loves. He holds nothing back and suppresses nothing. Nothing is wider than Paul's heart, which loved all the believers with all the passion which one might have toward the object of one's affection. And in verse 12, you are not restricted by us, but you are restricted by your own affections. Again, he said, just St. John Chrysostom says, the heart of one who loves is wide open. He walks with great freedom. It is when love is lacking that restrictions appear. Paul did not want to accuse them openly of lack of love. He merely points to the behavioral result and encourages them to perceive the cause for themselves. And in 13, now in return for the same, I speak as to children, you also be open. The return is not equal because to respond to love is not as great as to offer it in the first place. Even if the amount is the same, it still comes in second place. And then 14, do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness, and what communion has light with darkness? There's a lot of commentary on this. St. Basil the Great, these words clearly indicate an act which is absolutely forbidden and is displeasing to God and perilous for the one who would venture to commit it. St. Jerome, in 420 AD, there cannot be two contradictory loves in one man, just as there is no harmony between Christ and Belial, between justice and iniquity. So it is impossible for one soul to love both good and evil. You who love the Lord hate evil, the devil. In every deed there is love of one and hatred of the other. He who has my commandments and keeps them, he it is who loves me. You who love the things that are good hate the things that are bad. You cannot love good unless you hate evil. And then St. John Chrysostom here says, Paul sounds here like the father who asks a son who despises his parents and prefers wicked companions, what are you doing? Do you not realize that you are much nobler and better than they are? He will detach his son more easily from such people by appealing to his self-respect rather than by demeaning him. In the same way, Paul appears to the Corinthians, not mentioning himself or God, but appealing directly to their sense of who they are in themselves. In 15, and what accord has Christ with Belial, or what part has a believer with an unbeliever? From the only commentary on this is from Philosinus of Magbog. The Holy Spirit is our true baptism, and for this reason we remain always baptized, for he is in us always, and nothing can deprive us from our baptism apart from the denial of God and consorting with demons. In such cases, the Holy Spirit really does depart, because he cannot agree to remain in a place where Satan dwells. For what fellowship does Christ have with Satan, or the believer with the unbeliever, or God's temple with that of demons, on the indwelling of the Holy Spirit? And in 16, and what agreement has the temple of God with idols? For you are the temple of the living God, and as God has said, I will dwell in them and walk among them. I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Here's St. Gregory of Nyssa in 394 AD says, for the dignity for which we are made, Know to what extent the Creator has honored you, the human being, above all the rest of creation. The sky is not an image of God, nor is the moon, nor the sun, nor the beauty of the stars, nor anything of what can be seen in creation. You alone have been made the image of the reality that transcends all understanding, the likeness of imperishable beauty, the imprint of true divinity, the recipient of beatitude, the seal of the true light. When you turn to him because that which he is himself, there is nothing so great among beings that it can be compared with your greatness. God is able to measure the whole heaven with his span. The earth and sea are enclosed in the hollow of his hand. And although he is so great and holds all creation in the palm of his hand, you are able to hold him. He dwells in you and moves within you without constraint. For he has said, I will live and move among them.